I have a feeling a lot of you have never heard of Daniel Robinson. Please allow me to change that. He's been missing since June. And his life matters too. Let's start with present day and then rewind back so we can all get familiar with Daniel's story.
We have some new information tonight in the missing case of 24-year-old geologist Daniel Robinson. Robinson was last seen June 23rd leaving a job site in Buckeye, Arizona in his Jeep. His father, a veteran, considers this his mission now, vowing not to stop looking until he finds his son.
Treat it like a mission. I keep saying it, I'm a professional soldier. I have to do that. I have to do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
Well, that Jeep that Daniel was driving is now producing some new details. The Buckeye Police Department hired an investigative company that now says the Jeep was involved in a rollover crash and sped up right before impact. They also say the driver may have tried to jump a ravine. Also, new details show the ignition was turned on more than 40 times right after the crash. So some new information tonight. Joining me now, Jeff Mcgrath, the private investigator hired by the family to help with this case. Jeff, it's good to see you again. You had already known some of the details about what was going on inside this car before the crash, yes. But let's go through a few of these to catch people up. The car speed sped up right before the SUV crash. There were 40 ignition cycles after the crash. So what does that indicate to you?
Well, for starters, the car did not speed up right before the crash. I don't know where this investigator got this information. I'm looking at the crash data recorder right here, the report that came out of the black box, if you will. And there's no indication. As a matter of fact, the car's speed, the car's engine RPMs actually started to reduce right at the crash, right at the point of crash, right just prior to. So there was no speeding up.
How is your data different than what police through this investigative company? How does this differ?
Well, why? I don't think my data is different than theirs. This reconstruction outfit, they reviewed the same document I did. They have the same document I do. It's the download from the vehicle's black box. It's called the crash data report. That is the same data. Where he got the vehicle sped up at the end, I have no idea. And when you do a reconstruction of a collision, you not only do you view the reports that the vehicle creates when you download that, but you also need to review the physical evidence, meaning the vehicle. And I have possession of this vehicle, and nobody's asked me to come take a look at it. You need to do the two together. It's not a complete investigation without.
So help us make sense of why they would release this report and not come get the car.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. They didn't ask me. As a matter of fact, I've even asked the chief of police in Buckeye if we could have a sit down and try to get on the same page here. And he won't do that with me. So why it took them 3 months to hire an expert, and they should have done this from the beginning. We either could have worked side by side, or I could have stepped out had the person been in it for the right reason. But for him to review the same document that I have possession of, and he does now too, and say the vehicle sped up at the end or tried to jump the ravine is ludicrous. I don't have any evidence of that, and nothing in the vehicle's data from 5 seconds prior to those airbags coming out.
Anything else this report revealed that was information even confirming what you know already, or something that you didn't know?
Yeah, there was information. I've been saying from the beginning, there were 46 additional ignition cycles on the vehicle after the airbags came out. I stick with that. The report tells me that. Same report he read, and he said, looks like there were over 40 times somebody tried to start that vehicle after the airbags came out. So we're consistent on that. He's saying the 11 miles discrepancy with the 11 miles that's on the odometer of the vehicle and the 11 miles that it shows at the time the airbags came out, less, I should say. He's saying that's not an anomaly, that's a natural occurrence, but yet he had to search around through chat groups of reconstructionists to see if he could find somebody that's ever encountered this, because I've been doing this since 2004 and I've never encountered that discrepancy like he says is so normal by Jeep.
So
to the point to where,
go ahead.
Yeah, to the point to where now I think I want to go out and I want to download 10 random Jeeps and compare those mileages just to see if there's anything off on there. I have an idea what my findings are going to be.
Yeah, it sounds to me, Jeff, as though you are not at all confident in the police work to this point, and certainly not this latest report revealing some of the intricacies of the black box of the car. I'm wondering, though, based on all of the evidence you have gathered, we were just showing pictures of Daniel on the screen. He's been missing since late June. His Jeep was found in July. Do you have any theories right now on what you have as to what happened to Daniel?
You know, I don't like to put my theories out there because I don't want to lead somebody in the wrong direction if it's not true. It's just a theory at this point. But I stand behind that. You know, whether it was Daniel that was in that vehicle or somebody else, it appears to be that somebody was in a situation that they needed some help. So that I stand by that. But as far as I can't release a theory that I have right now at this point, just because I don't want to.
I understand. Real quickly before I let you go, how's his family doing? How's his dad? I know you're in constant contact.
Family, they're doing it as they have been through this whole thing. They're holding up. They're holding out hope as well. Dad's still David, and he's doing the best he can, and he's trying not to show any of that emotion on the outside. But I know he's hurting on the inside, and we're just trying to do what we can to soften this blow on him and make it easier.
I know you're working hard on the case. Lots of volunteers out there searching the desert on a regular basis. Jeff, we appreciate the update as always. And there seems as though there are a lot of holes in this one. And hopefully the next time we talk, we have a few more answers. Jeff Mcgrath, private investigator, helping in the search for Daniel Robinson. Jeff, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We want to turn now to an update on a story that we brought you last night on News Nation Prime. It is part of a new series that we're calling Missing in America. And this case focuses on the disappearance of a man named Daniel Robinson. He is a 24-year-old geologist who was last seen leaving his work site on June 23rd in Buckeye, Arizona. His father, David, has spent months in that vast desert searching for his son, along with the help of a private investigator. Both of them are standing by tonight to talk to me live. And new tonight, we have heard from police in Buckeye. They say they have swabbed Daniel's car, including DNA and fingerprinting, and they've even extracted some data from his phone, and they're turning to a new tool as well. Investigators used a robot-equipped camera to search 2 mine shafts in the area. Still, however, no signs of Daniel, and you can see their search on your screen there. Police have told us they have no evidence of foul play in this case or that a violent crime was committed, but Daniel's family and this investigator aren't so sure, and they say it is just not like Daniel to disappear. Joining me now is David Robinson, Daniel's father. Mr. Robinson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for bringing me on.
There's a lot of attention on Daniel right now. I know you've been out there for months. I want to go back to when you first learned he was missing. How did you hear the news, and when was the last time that you talked to him?
Well, I heard the news from my daughter. She lived here in Phoenix. She got alerted by a coworker from her job, from my son's job, knocked on her door and tell her that my son went, wasn't at the job site and they was looking for him. I was at home in South Carolina when I received that message.
So you've gone out to Arizona. Tell us what Daniel was doing out there.
Well, Daniel, upon graduating from college, he took a class out in Flagstaff, Arizona, pending his graduation. And from his class he went straight into his job after graduation into a company called Matrix New World. Started his first job. He came out here to pursue his career. He's a geologist. He got hired on as a field geologist. And he's been working that job for a little over 2 years.
He was doing what he loved. He was out there in Arizona following his passion. You say this isn't like him to just disappear. Do you think that something bad has happened?
I know something bad has happened. However, I just don't know what it is. As a father, your mind can run with you. I'm definitely suspicious of everything. Haven't seen everything that I have seen. It makes you weary. Try to keep the faith that my son is out there alive somewhere. But things like this from every day to day, it wears at your faith. You try to keep that faith, try to keep the hope alive. But, either or, I'm still going to continue to look for my son. I'm not waiting on the police department. I'm not waiting on anybody who don't value my son. I value my son, and I'm going to actually be out there and fight for him.
I know you said you'll be there until you get the answers. And as a parent, I hear you. I'd be doing the same thing. Daniel's colleague said that his behavior was odd on the morning that he went missing, that he mentioned some things about needing to take a break. Can you shed any light on his state of mind at that time?
Well, I talked to my son 2 days prior to him going missing. I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. My son and I have 2-hour conversations. That's normal for he and I. We have private conversations depending on what he want to do in his career. Matter of fact, we had plans. I needed to be here this summer in July to see his vehicle for the first time. He made plans. He also, discussed with me things for the future. As in having to talk to his coworkers and what they thought his state of mind was, I can dispute that they don't know my son as well as I do. And I can argue the point that, maybe he could have had a bad day. His state of mind could have been a bad day. A lot of people have a bad day. Right. He could have been thinking about things that day. And everybody don't have great days, So what their opinion is about his state of mind is irrelevant to me based on family that know him.
Just because we have a bad day doesn't mean we go missing. David, we're thinking of you tonight. I know there is a massive ground search planned for this weekend. You and many others going to be scouring that Arizona desert looking for Daniel. We're on the case as well. We're asking a lot of questions, and as we find answers, we'll pass them along, and we're going to stay on this with you. Appreciate your time tonight, David.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Father looking for his son. We want to bring in private investigator Jeff Mcgrath now. He was hired by David, Daniel's father, to look into this case. Jeff, good to see you again. I talked to you last night about this case. Have you gotten any new leads since last night?
I was out there today because I heard the Buckeye Police Department was conducting searches of the mines and the wells, which is what we've wanted them to do from the beginning. I don't believe they came up with anything, but I haven't turned up anything new as of today. There's some leads I'm going to follow in the next weekend and coming week. But at this point, I don't have anything that's pointing me to Daniel, whether he perished or he's alive.
Jeff,
it's still a mystery.
It's still a mystery. We did get one tip about cartel activity in the Arizona desert, something you and I talked about last night. Is this something that you're looking into?
Something I'm very concerned about, yes. I'm concerned that either Daniel stumbled across the wrong person or the wrong person stumbled across Daniel. That's my concern. That's kind of the avenue I'm going right now.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the police, we have reached out to Buckeye Police. They've given us a statement. They still say there's no evidence of foul play or a violent crime. But as you said, they're out there in the desert. They're looking in some of these mine shafts. But currently, they gave you the evidence, which you told us. Do you believe that you have enough evidence to persuade police to open up a criminal investigation? And what would that take?
Well, I have enough evidence to open up a suspicious missing person investigation. If we find something of criminal activity as we move forward, then we can elevate the case to that. The vehicle, I would argue that the vehicle was assaulted. It doesn't look like it, less than an accident, more of an assault on the outside, looking at the windshield and the roofline. If Buckeye was willing to sit down with me and we discuss this, I think we could work together and at least move this forward.
Are they responsive to that request?
I have been able to sit down with all of them once. The chief canceled on me. I had about 3 of their department in a room for my attention when I explained it, but I don't think they want to hear what I have to say.
All right. Well, we're asking the questions as well tonight, Jeff. Keep us posted, and we'll follow up with you as well. Jeff Mcgrath, private investigator, looking for Daniel Robinson tonight. Jeff, thank you.
24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Nearly a month later, Daniel's Jeep was found in a ravine approximately 4 miles from where he was last seen, and police say that the vehicle appeared to have rolled and landed on its side. Daniel's clothes, his cell phone, wallet, his keys, they were all found at the scene, and police say that foul play is not suspected, but Daniel's family says otherwise. Joining us now is his family. We have Daniel's father, David Robinson, and Daniel's brother, Roger Colley Robinson. I want to thank you both for coming on this morning to talk about Daniel. And I do just want to start first, David, and then Roger, if you can tell me a little bit about your baby brother. But David, tell me about your son.
Thank you for bringing us on, Brianna. Daniel, he's a very outspoken guy from his childhood. Daniel, he's always challenged everything. He challenged his siblings. He want to outdo them academically. Everybody know that Daniel been born without a right hand. He never let that stop him. He done everything from learning how to play a French horn. He learned how to play the trombone. When he got into college, he sought out to be a geologist, and he pursued his dreams, and he accomplished those goals. Graduated with honors. He also is a friendly guy. He always have friends. The College of Charleston down there, I've seen so many of his friends that love him. Daniel's a guy that loves to travel. He spent times with his friend on traveling. He's loved nature. He liked to do hiking. Once he got out here to Phoenix, he liked to hike. He liked to travel, like I say, see nature. And he loved his career as a geologist. He liked to collect his rocks. He has a rock collection. But most of all about Daniel, he's a person that like to bring people together. And even in this moment when he's not here with us, he's bringing everyone together right now. So that's the type of person that Daniel is.
I will tell you, I have been reading about your son, and I have been so impressed by him and what a special person he clearly is. Your baby brother, Roger.
Yes.
And I just wonder, right now authorities are saying that there is no foul play suspected. That's not what your family thinks. Tell us about this.
Well, there's too many things that's going on with this case. From the beginning, as from a family standpoint, Daniel, he would never do anything, outside of telling his family. The first indication that I thought that was very strange with Daniel is, after 6 hours, not hearing from him at all, he either would call his siblings, his mom, or myself. He let somebody know where you're going. But once Daniel became missing, and we realized that, I think the quick action wasn't there quick enough, first of all. But then when, that caused me to have to do my own searching and things like that. But once his vehicle was found and the way it was found, it just didn't look right. It didn't sit right with me. That's why I ended up getting my own private investigator. And from that point, everything that was found from that point indicates that, we need to look a little farther than just saying he's just missing.
Roger, the Buckeye police say that the case remains open and active. They say currently we are consulting outside experts for enhanced analysis of the data from Daniel's vehicle. We are also asking anyone with information to please contact investigators. What do you think, Roger, about what police are doing and where this investigation into your brother's disappearance, where it stands?
From what I'm getting from this, I feel that, they're trying to do what's right at this point, but I feel that it's a little too late. Like my father said, had they been quick about it in the beginning, we wouldn't be here 3 months later, still searching for my brother and still looking for answers. I think my sister that lives in Arizona and my father did a lot in the beginning, trying to push and get things moving, pleading with the police, begging for them, hey, can you help us get a search? Can we do an air search? Can we get something? And I just think the lack of action initially is what's leading us here. And now they're having to backtrack and try to bring in outside sources to help search for my brother.
I don't think Daniel was in that vehicle.
The private investigator working with the Robinson family suspects foul play is involved. He says there are too many unanswered questions raised by data recovered from the vehicle.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
Jeff Mcgrath also notes red paint transfer on the right side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
And we begin tonight with Daniel Robinson, a 24-year-old geologist living and working in Buckeye, Arizona. It is one of the westernmost suburbs of Phoenix. It's a low-lying desert valley, a resort spot that has quickly grown into a full-scale city. And it is where Daniel set off on a start for a job that he loved. He left work in Buckeye June 23rd. He has not been seen or heard from since. Puzzling clues, a crash scene that raises a lot of questions is what we know tonight. News Nation correspondent Nancy Liu is live in Buckeye for us, where she spent some time with Daniel's father. Nancy.
Marnie, it has been over 3 months since Daniel Robinson went missing. This is the area in Buckeye where his vehicle was found. This is remote. The terrain is extremely treacherous, and his family now wonders whether Daniel was really in that vehicle when it crashed here.
I have faith, and I really believe I'm going to have my son back alive.
David Robinson is on the biggest mission of his life. After serving 2 tours in the deserts of Afghanistan, the Army vet has no plans to leave the deserts of Arizona until he finds his 24-year-old son, Daniel.
Treat it like a mission. I keep saying it. I'm a professional soldier. I do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
The job has been filled with frustration. Daniel is a geologist who works for a company analyzing sediments in the area for a well. He was last seen leaving the worksite in Buckeye on the morning of June 23rd. A month later, a rancher found Robinson's Jeep crashed in a ravine. His keys, wallet, and phone were in the SUV, but there was no sign of him.
And I think the first thing he would have done if he was in that vehicle is at least carry his phone with him. I couldn't imagine someone 24 years old won't be attached to his phone.
I'm leaning more towards, I don't think Daniel was in that vehicle.
The private investigator working with the Robinson family suspects foul play is involved. He says there are too many unanswered questions raised by data recovered from the vehicle.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
Jeff Mcgrath also notes red paint transfer on the right side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
The Buckeye Police Department refused an interview request, but provided its report in which coworkers said Daniel made odd comments about needing rest before he left the job site that morning. His father describes Daniel as always friendly and well-adjusted since his birth without a right hand.
He don't wear prosthetics, you know he was born without a hand, and he don't wear prosthetics. His mom tried to get him to wear it. No, Mom, I want to, be who I am. And that's just Daniel. He was living his dream. He became interested in geology when his first year in college, his freshman year. He took a class, and that just set it off,
Just like the Gabby Petito case, internet sleuths are also at work on this one.
Just seeing the way the car was, the Jeep was, and the evidence, to me, it actually does support foul play.
Brian Watts hosts a mystery and adventure show on YouTube. A recent episode featured Daniel's disappearance.
After I then got lots of comments from people in and around that area that said, yeah, there's crime, carjackings that happen all the time, and it's bad. It's something that they're aware of.
The search for Daniel forges on, and this man on a mission will remain in Arizona until there are answers.
I don't know what to think anymore. Just gonna keep watching and keep on searching.
And Robinson has been searching on his own practically every day for over 3 months and organizing volunteer searches on the weekend. In fact, a major volunteer search is planned for this weekend with an army of over 1,000 people.
According to Google, the chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime in Buckeye is 1 in 58. Based on FBI crime data, Buckeye is not one of the safest communities in America. Relative to Arizona, Buckeye has a crime rate that is higher than 45% of the state's cities and towns of all sizes. Now, based on this information and what we just heard from the private investigator, come on. The engine started again, 46, 47 times after the crash? The car went 11 miles further after the airbags deployed. Something's up, and we got to figure it out. Let's find Daniel Robinson. Figure out what's going on in Buckeye.
Treat it like a mission. I keep saying it. I'm a professional soldier. I do my job and find my son. He's my son. I'm his father, and it's my job.